Hi, this is CK at CK Education. I've been doing a college series a little bit here, talking to college kids, high school kids going to college in a year, this fall, next year. So this message is for you. Look, in our society today, we grow up slow. Kids grow up slow. And I know everybody talks about the good old days, and when I say this, you're gonna think, man, he's just an old guy. He's talking about the good old days, and it's okay if you think that, because I am sort of an older guy compared to high school kids, college kids. But let me just say this: in our society today, I think that we've made it so that, and maybe it's always been like this. Maybe it hasn't changed that much in 40 years or whatever. But we grow up too slow. You got 20, 21, 22-year-old kids who act like babies. They act like babies. Like you got to do everything. They don't know how to interview. They don't know how to get a job. They don't know how to work. If you work them a little bit, they complain about it. Oh man, I worked so many hours this week. Man, how many hours you work? Man, they're working me like 20 hours a week. I'm like, 20 hours a week? What are you talking about? See, so here's an old man story. When I was 16, as soon as I got my license, as soon as I got my driver's license, because my parents didn't have a lot of money. We weren't poor. I never thought we were poor, but we didn't have an abundance of money. And many years I've experienced the stress, the financial stress that my parents went through. So I felt bad asking for some things as I was growing up. So as soon as I got my driver's license, I looked for a job. I looked for a full-time job. Forget about part-time, man. I want to try to make as much money as I could. So when I was 16 years old, that summer, after the school year, I went and got a job at a Dairy Queen. Now, Dairy Queen, I don't know. Here on the East Coast, when I go to Dairy Queens, they just have blizzards and stuff, like just desserts. But I don't know if they have any. I don't know. Maybe this is just a long time ago. But a long time ago, when I was 16, Dairy Queens were just like Burger Kings and McDonald's. I mean, they had full service burgers, and it was an eat-in restaurant, and like it was just like McDonald's basically. It's a fast food restaurant with burgers and everything. So I worked in the back making burgers and fries and changing the oil and stuff like that. So I worked there full time. Got there in the morning, worked until whatever 3, 4 o'clock, something like that. And I tried to get as many hours as I could, and I think I worked full time there. And I just remember driving home after work, on a sunny day. It was summer, and driving in this really crappy car, very, very old used car. But I was thankful for it. My dad got it for me as soon as I turned 16. I think literally he bought it for like $500. I'm not kidding. Even back then, that was cheap. Okay, this was like a 1978 Ford Granada. I remember the name. It was white color. It was used. It was old, but it ran, and I was happy to have that car. I'm not complaining. I was happy to have. It was my car. So my dad basically bought it for me and said, "Look, I don't want you to give any of your friends rides. I don't want you to get rides from your friends. You know how parents are. They're overprotective. But so I bought you this car. I want you to ride this car. Now you can give your sister a ride, but here's your car. So you can drive your car now. Okay, you don't have to get a ride from somebody else." I was ecstatic. That was awesome. I was like, all right, cool. This is my car. So I drove it, and I drove it to work. And I worked pretty much full time from what I can remember. The first summer, right after I could drive, and that was awesome to me. I remember driving home thinking like, oh man, I'm getting paid like, I don't even know. It might have been $5 an hour or something like that. $6 an hour. I don't know, something back then. So, but I'm just thinking like, okay, I worked like 7 hours. So, 6 hours or, $6 an hour. So, 40, like, so I'm adding it up in my head, like how much I'm going to get paid, when I get my paycheck. So I started work early. And even before that, even before I could drive, I did odd jobs in the summer. Any job that I can find in the summer, I did. And it helped me grow up. It helped me grow up quickly. Much more quickly. One summer I remember a friend of mine, he says, "Hey, are you doing anything this, today?" I said, no, not really. He says, "You want to make $50?" I was like, "Yeah, $50, yeah." He says, "So there's this guy, man, I met this guy and he's unloading a truck and he needs some people to unload a truck, boxes off a truck. And if we unload all of it, he'll pay us $50 cash. I was like, let's go, pick me up. So he came over, we went. I don't even know how we found this guy. It was just, so this guy, he had like a moving truck size, full of boxes, heavy boxes, and we had to unload all of it into the warehouse. And sure enough, he paid us $50. He even took us to lunch afterwards. I mean, I would look for any job that I could find, and that really helped me grow up quickly. So by the time I got to college, I was a veteran, man. I've been working, since I was like 14. So when I was in college, I had a lot of years of experience. When I was 18, 19 years old, I already had 5 years of experience or something, working. So that really helped me grow up. And then all throughout college, I didn't work on campus, like that, not an official internship job like that, but I worked at my parents' restaurant a lot, my parents' business, they had businesses, so I helped out a lot. Every weekend I was there and we did this. So my point is, you got to stop being a baby. You got to stop complaining about, man, I don't want to work through college. I mean, I already have a lot of stuff I already, have so much to study, and so did I. Everybody does. But that's part of growing up. See, growing up is taking on more responsibilities. It's taking on more responsibilities. It's learning to become self-reliant, not depending on my parents like I used to. Now, admittedly, when I was in college, I came home every weekend and I brought home the laundry. So my mom did the laundry for me. But more and more, I was learning to become self-reliant, independent. And especially when it came to money, making my own money, learning how to do that, learning how to manage my own money, and learning the marketplace, learning the economy, and just, learning about the markets, stock market, learning about, real estate, learning about mortgages, learning about stuff that I didn't really know before. Started learning it, started looking into it, started, experimenting and where should I invest? Should I invest? A lot of things like that. So part of growing up, when you're in college, don't think that, well, just I'm in school, so I'm just a student. You're not just a student anymore. Legally in the United States, you're 18 years old, you're an adult. Okay, now that's a random age. I know some people who are 48 years old who are still kids, and I know 16-year-olds who are more like adults. But so it's not necessarily an age thing. But I'm just saying, legally, you are an adult at 18, and you got to take on more responsibilities. You have to be more self-reliant. You have to be independent. You have to be more responsible. You got to learn to take on a job, and study. You got to be responsible for your own actions, right? And so you got to make your own choices, and you got to live by the choices that you made. This is part of growing up, and sometimes you make mistakes. Now, I understand that a lot of parents, they want to so protect their kids from making mistakes that it makes their kids into little kids. I mean, the kids are like 50 years old, and they're still little kids. You got to let them make mistakes. You got to let them make Hopefully not really big mistakes, But so that's what you gotta teach them. But you gotta make them make mistakes and let them make mistakes and then learn from that. That's the only way you improve. It's the only way you learn, truly learn, and the learning becomes embedded in your DNA because you made the mistake and you fixed it. But now, it's different. If you got a 10-year-old, if you got a 5-year-old, that's a different thing. But if you're 18, 19, 20 years old, you got to be able to do some of those things. You got to be able to make mistakes. You got to learn from the mistakes. You got to learn how to act and how to live and how to be responsible and understand what the consequences are. And you got to stop being a baby, okay? When you're in high school, you're living at home, things change when you get in college. Even if you're living at home in college, that's fine. I tell a lot of my students, you should just commute from home to save money. But once you go to college, make it a different mindset. When you go to college, you say, all right, so I'm going to start doing these things. I'm going to start working. I'm going to start doing this. You got to take on more responsibilities. You can't just be the same way you were when you were in 10th grade, 11th grade, even in 12th grade. When you go to college, whether your parents tell you or not, grow up. Stop being a baby. Do some things. Take on more responsibilities. Contribute. Go make money. Go work. Stop whining about, I got too much homework, and do some things and become more self-reliant and more independent. This is so important for your growth. This is not just an old man saying, oh, you guys are little babies and you should grow up. It is important for your growth. I had to do that for my growth as well. So you can't just, rely on mommy and daddy to do everything. When you're 10 years old, that's all right. When you're 18 and 20 years old, that's not so all right. You got to really start doing it, because once you get a certain age, you got to go build your own family. You got to go build your own business, your own career, you got to go do that yourself. How are you going to do that if you didn't practice? Okay. So daddy's going to still do it for you. Mommy's still going to do it for you when you're 30, 40, 50, 60? No, they're not. Well, hopefully they won't, okay? Because that's just really inhibiting the growth of your kid. So you got to go out there. Once you get into college, decide in your mind, I'm going to become an adult. I'm going to take on more responsibility. I'm going to become self-reliant. I'm going to work. I'm going to do the things. I'm going to make decisions. I'm going to live by the consequences. I'm going to learn and stop playing. Stop just playing. Okay, I said in my previous video, you can't just play. Playing is okay, but now you're going to do less play because you got to study, you got to work, you got more responsibilities. That's what growing up is. You can't just play all the time. So college kids say, well, in the summer, man, I'm not doing any work. I'm going to go on spring break. I'm going to go to the beach. I'm going to get drunk. I'm going to hang out with my friends. I'm not working. You're living like a baby. I'm sorry to say, you're just a little baby, okay? I'm saying grow up. You can go one weekend at the beach, but you're going to spend all summer at the beach? You're not going to do anything? You're not going to do anything. Okay, that's being a baby. Now, many of my students are not babies. Many of my students, they're so mature. They got their act straight. They're 25, 26 years old. They're doing it the right way. They're mature. They're more mature than some 50-year-olds I know. And they didn't do that. In college, they studied. They took it seriously. They played, but they didn't just play. Okay, you have fun, but you don't just have fun. And they took on responsibility. They're adults. They're doing things. And that's wonderful to see. Because what you do, like I said in my last video, what you do when you're young, in your 20s and 30s, can set you up for the rest of your life. But you could also ruin the rest of your life, financially speaking, okay, by wasting your 20s and 30s. So my advice is grow up and become more responsible and become more of an adult when you get into college. That's my advice. So that's my advice today. I'm going to end this video here. Thanks for watching this video. And until my next one, I was going to say well, but grow up. Okay?